Hello and welcome to this week's edition of FX Addicts Weekly Market Analysis. This is Tim the Currency Professor and today is Friday, November 16th, 2012. Well, we had a little bit of action this week, but not a lot. It was enough to cause a correction in most things, and namely the dollar and anything against the dollar, and the euro and anything against the euro. So here we have the euro for the week, well, for the days of the week, and we did have a correction on Wednesday and Thursday this week, so we're looking good now. We're going back here, depending on how we close the day, but we should close below yesterday's low, which would signal then a significant turnaround here in this little correction, and more than likely we'll start to sell off again next week. Now we're down about 57 pips right now, hanging out about 127.25. And if we look at the weeklies, we can see how this week is still just barely an up week. But overall, you can see how we had a big range and really ended up the week going nowhere. And that's off of 3 negative weeks. So there is a possibility here that we could consolidate here for a week, another week or two, and then continue on the downward path. However, if we look at the monthlies here, we can see that we are getting ever so slightly more bearish on the monthly. So we got 2 weeks left of trading for this month. If we were to close here on the month, it would be very bearish. If we were to close below the lows of September, which is down around 125, that would be extremely bearish. So we still got 2 weeks where a lot can happen, and we're looking for the longer term there now. On the shorter term here, going back to the dailies, I did turn my programs on back here, so it is shorting the market at the best opportunities on the program. So as it goes off, as it continues to go lower, it's going to continue to sell that market, taking up little pips here and there, between 3 and 9 pips. And on the pound, the cable, today up about 15 pips. It was down for most of the week. Yesterday up slightly, today up slightly. So here we are, we're getting our little correction here yesterday and today. It may slide into Monday. We may open up Monday's session higher and then close lower. That's a very, very good possibility. We got a good trend going now to the downside here on a short-term basis. And on the weeklies, well, we're certainly starting to fall off here. This little bit of a correction from this run-up has gone to more than a correction and is now really turning the corner here, in which we'll sell off. And of course, we have this this support line, trend line, whatever we want to call it, down here, if I can get it straight, and it's down around. Right now it is just about 155, so we still got about 350 pips before we hit that, but it is very, very likely we're going to get down to that area and probably breach it, because this will be the 4th time, 1, 2, 3, and then 4th time down here, and the failed rally here is also signaling that as well. Now the monthlies, well, the monthlies look just very, very weak. And as we can see here, we got this triangle. We've talked about this many times now, and the fact that we have failed to get up here again, and we've been down along this trend line 3 times. So the next time we're going to break that trend line, we're probably going to sell off very quickly, at least down into the 140s, quite possibly into the 130s, and ultimately down to about 125. That's from a technical standpoint. U.S. dollar against the Swiss franc. I'm going to have to switch here. Oops. No, this one. Okay. I got some bad data on one of my systems here, so I got to switch back and forth. On the Swiss franc, we are up today about 47 pips. We're now pushing up to close to that 95 level. We did spike up above it on Tuesday, and it fell right back, so we then sold off for a couple of days, and now today's action looks very positive again. I was really anticipating it to get down into the lower 90s here, 90.50, 91, 91.50, and we haven't quite done that yet. Was also expecting it to consolidate for a few more weeks and possibly another month. So if we look at the weeklies, we can see how we're really starting to curve back up here, and it's starting to actually pick up some momentum. This is now, we're down this week for the week, but just barely. We had 3 weeks up. Really was expecting this kind of a behavior where we consolidated for a couple of months. It's really not looking like that's going to happen. If we look at the monthlies too, we're starting to see some pretty good strength this month. So it's going to be very important how we close the month out, and whether or not we actually have some real strength on the close of the month. That would be positive. That would take us then to new highs probably in December. Kind of anticipating it to happen in January, but there is a possibility here that technically we could rally around and make those highs in December. Well, the big story for the week is the yen getting hammered and the dollar just rocketing up against it. We've had 2 exceptionally good days here, and now today, really not bad today either. We're up about 4 pips on the day, but overall still looks very, very strong. We're closing the days. We closed above the resistance levels that we had here, right in here, and now on the weekly basis, we are getting well up above the most recent highs, and it really looks like we're going to head to this 84.50 area that we hit back here in March and April. So good amount of strength here. We got this nice curve bottom going here. Looks very good. We came down, we tested the lows down here, built some very good support, and now we're rocketing up. On the monthlies, looks very strong. I really wouldn't be surprised if we closed above the highs, up around 85 for the month. That would be an extremely bullish sign. Of course, we had this very long-term downtrend back here where we breached it back in here and bounced around, and now this is the second leg of this breakout. So this leg should take several months, and we should break well up above 90 here on the longer term. Now on the Euro Swiss, we're up today. We were up yesterday. We were up about 6 pips today, but we are really losing any type of upward momentum here, and probably Monday, Tuesday we'll sell off again. We're going to head back down to that 120.10 area, and that looks like it's going to be pretty good support again for a little while. Don't expect it to stay there as long as it did the last time, but we get down that area, it'll probably be a very good buying opportunity again, because of course the Swiss National Bank is going to support that 120 area, and we could then rally up considerably from that. Still looking for it to run to about the 124 level. Euro yen also enjoying 2 very nice days this week. The question remains, though, how strong that euro is going to be against the yen. Even though the yen is weakening, the bigger question is how strong will that yen be? I'm sorry, how strong will that euro be in relationship to the yen? The euro having still a lot of issues. They came out with their GDP yesterday. It was not as bad as expected. It was only down 0.1%, but nonetheless it's still the second quarter in a row of negative GDP. So officially Europe is in a recession. Now France and Germany's GDP were better than expected, and they were positive. So that makes up about 50% of the European Union economic growth, and certainly has a factor in stabilizing the euro. But here again, we look at these longer term charts and we have to ask ourselves, how far can we really go? We're really hitting up against some pretty good resistance. We've been up there several times before. The question is, will it hold this time, or have we indeed bottomed? Now this low back here, we never went down and tested, and that makes me very nervous of us going up and making new highs above this trend line. Now we could pop above that trend line, and if we look on the monthlies, we could run all the way up to about the 107 area. That would probably be about it. This damage that was done back here is very long standing damage, and then we've had this very, very strong downtrend here. It would take an awful lot for the euro to gain that much against the yen to get back up around the 110 area or something. It is very possible that we could sell off from here, get down into the lower 90s, consolidate down there for several months, if not maybe even close to a year, and then that way we build a base from which it can then go up. Longer term, it's very difficult to see us moving up off of this kind of a pattern. So any type of rally I'm disbelieving and thinking that it is going to be very, very short-lived. That is it for this week. If you don't belong to FX Addicts, feel free to stop by. We do offer a 7-day trial membership, and our subscription rates are also very, very reasonable. So feel free to stop on by. If you have questions, please drop me an email, grab me on Skype, or just give me a call. Thank you very much.